2, 3.
You know, it might be Halloween, Annie, but your ass better not have brought anything haunted back from Ohio.
I don't think that I did, because I specifically did what the woman said, which is told the spirits, you cannot come with me. You must stay here.
You rebuked them.
If you've tuned in to see if you can argue with your spouse and still be madly in love, you're in the right spot.
I'm Kent.
And I'm Annie.
And we're the Kilkos. So like a game show.
We're your host of Life's Little Arguments. We're not trained experts in love and marriage. Actually, we might be quite dysfunctional, but we have been happily married for 16 years.
Debatable.
Not only will we share all the ups and downs of marriage, but the ins and outs of raising his and her kids, growing through new jobs and opportunities, and our latest obsession, our empty nest babies, our dogs, Blakely and Lincoln.
So if you hear ting, ting, ting across the microphone, they're probably walking across the floor.
Listen in each week while we discuss our life, current events, random TikToks, and the little arguments that undoubtedly come up. Whether you're in a long-term relationship yourself or in a fresh new relationship, we hope you find our podcast fun, entertaining, and helps you realize there is a normal in life's little arguments. Hey, babe.
What's up, love? Annie has the dew going on, by the way. You know, I have talked before that I like the dew. The dewy look, I should say. I looked over, we went to eat dinner tonight, and I was like, man, you got that dewy look going on. She was like, I don't consider this dewy. I consider this greasy.
Shiny.
Shit looks good to me. I'm here for it.
Okay.
You know what I told her? I said, when I see a dewy look, it reminds me of like a rich person who's just a boss. Like, I don't give a shit about anything because I'm the shit. Athletic, good looking, like that's what the dew. I don't know why that makes me think about the dewy look.
You're athletic.
There's something because I don't know. It's sexy. There's something that just kind of elevates the person when they have the dewy look, and you got it going on today. So.
Okay, well,
and the way you had your hair earlier, I was like, shit.
Yeah.
Let me go eat some sushi.
Oh, what is that? Hold on.
No, because we went and ate sushi.
Oh, okay. I don't know. That was a little. I don't know
why you made it weird.
Well, it was weird.
Okay.
Okay.
We actually, in fact, we went and ate sushi, and we were going to sit in our spot at the bar, and then two of our friends, Melissa and Dan, walk in, and they sit at the table, and they're like, "Hey, we got 2 spots." And Annie looks at me like, "Let's go sit at the table." And I'm like, "This is our spot at the bar. This is where we sit at the bar. What the hell?"
Absolutely, we're not going to go over there.
No, in fact,
you made it so weird.
The look on my face probably made it very weird.
It absolutely did.
So,
I was like,
Melissa,
what the hell are you doing?
Dan, Melissa, sorry about that. I'm just a stickler about sitting in certain spots. But anyhow, the sushi was good. Company was great. Had a lot of great conversation. I'm glad we ran into you guys at the restaurant.
Yeah.
Candide, shout out.
You made it real awkward.
You're making it more than it needs to be, but.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You go ahead. It's your podcast. You go ahead.
Well, first of all, how do you spell podcast?
Go ahead with it.
How do you spell podcast? All right, you take over. Go for it.
No, you go ahead.
I'm talent. You better watch how you talk to me.
You got zero talent right now if you can't keep this train moving.
Yeah, so let's talk about your trip to Ohio.
Okay, yeah. Let's go ahead.
No, seriously, you do this. You do this shit a lot better than I do.
Mm-hmm. That's what I thought.
Yep.
So, so the trip to Ohio that you were supposed to go on that you didn't go on. It was
first of all, don't say it like I don't go to places. I had to work. Let's get it straight.
Okay.
Which was real. It actually ended up being quite BS because the closing ended up not funding, which is bullshit. But anyhow, it'll fund tomorrow and everything will be fine. But
anyway, so so I still went. We went up. My cousin's stepson was getting married, and so Courtney wanted us to come. Or at least invited us to come or whatever. And of course, Amy and I are always going to go do that whenever we can. And so Lauren was going to go with us. It was going to be me, you, the dogs, and Lauren. We're all going to go. Well, since you didn't go, it kind of felt like I was going to be gone from the Airbnb quite a bit because it was going to be there helping like decorate and then like rehearsal and the whole wedding. So just decided it made more sense for the dogs to stay with you. So
why wouldn't you? Yeah.
The dogs didn't get to go.
They enjoyed their time.
Made me sad. But so that meant just a full 10 plus hours in the car riding me and Lauren.
Yeah. So how many words did you get in? What was the Lauren to Annie word ratio? Probably about 80 to 1. On the way there? Because you said she
probably.
sat in the front with you on the way there because she didn't have a choice. Because
Didn't have a
there was a
choice.
piece of furniture in the back, which is why you took the Jeep.
Yes.
Yeah, we're watching shows and all that stuff, I'm sure. But then on the way back, now that the furniture wasn't there, you said she
That heifer slept in the back. She got in the back, lay down, and slept majority of the way back. I'm like, looked like I was freaking driving Miss Daisy. But
that's dirty.
Yeah, that was dirty. But whatever, it's fine. It's not a big deal. But on the way up, yeah, she had to sit in the front, and I decided it would be a great idea as soon as we pulled out. Before we even pulled out of the neighborhood, I hit go live on Facebook and thought we would just kind of vlog our way up through there because I had looked up some questions, like getting to know you questions, or like questions like parents should ask kids and vice versa or something like that. And I'm like, well, that might be fun to just kind of go live and do some of this. And so I don't know how many questions we actually went through, probably just 2 or 3, but we kind of did that and just basically kind of told people what we were doing, that we were going to Ohio, and an overview of, was I going to be excited to be in a car for her with her for that long? What are the chances that she was going to get on my nerves and this and that and whatever? And so we did that.
So how would you rate that trip, 1 to 10 on the way up there? Just the atmosphere, if you will.
The atmosphere. I mean, it's a car drive. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a very long drive. So I would give it probably like a 7.
Wow. I bet if that's a 7, I bet you would rate trips with me like a 6 or 5. Mm-mm. That's the one time I excuse you getting mad at me, because I'm like, I would even get on my own nerves in the car.
Yeah. And so, actually, it worked out pretty well on the way up there. I don't even think she took a nap the entire way up, or maybe she took one. I can't really remember. But, the Jeep was tough. It was a rough ride in the Jeep all the way up there, because your Jeep is, Aaron asked me, he's like, does it have the death rattle? And at the time I said no, and it doesn't. It's not like it gets to 75 and it's like, ugh. Yeah. But man, freaking Tennessee roads suck dick. And it was just like, ka-clong, ka-clong. And,
kind of like driving to Byron on the interstate.
It's so horrible. Yeah. And so several things happened. First of all, we stopped at a little. First of all, we were planning on stopping at every Buc-ee's that we passed. Well, turns out we were only going to end up passing 2 of them. There were 2 more that she like searched or whatever. We thought we were going to be going past, or she thought we were going to be going past, and it turns out they were going like east and west, and we're going north and south. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, nah, cuz we ain't getting off the road. We ain't getting off 75 to go to that. That we're going to come to another one. We'll just go to the Buc-ee's.
It's not that important, yeah.
Not that important. So somehow we missed the first Buc-ee's, and I think probably because we were also watching Outer Banks, but that's neither here nor there. Don't come at me. Don't come at me. I'm paying attention to the road. So we finally get to Buc-ee's, and it's not a Boosie stop. And we probably just spent a good half an hour just kind of walking around, honestly, just wasting a little bit of time, because I really was trying to decide, am I going to stop for the night, or I'm going to push on and make the last 3 hours or whatever.
It's a 10-hour drive if you just go straight through.
And it's not like we had, like, it wasn't like I had to get up early the next morning and like get to somewhere. So I could have anyway. So we did that, and then we went just a little bit further and went to this cute little pizza pub. It was called Engine House Pizza Pub. And it must have been like a trivia night. So this was Friday night? Was that Friday? Did I leave on Friday?
That sounds right.
It's Friday night. They were doing trivia. And so we went in and had pizza. And it was decorated like Halloween, just like exploded in this place, which I loved it. It was so cute. They had just tons of decorations. So that was pretty cool. And so we were probably there about 45 minutes to an hour and get back on the road. And we were 45 minutes down the road, and it's pitch black. So we're not on the interstate any longer. There are no lights. Like, what are those lights?
Street lights.
Like, what are they called? Are they called street lights on the interstate, though?
Yeah, we're going to refer to them as street lights.
Okay, so there's no street lights. I can't see worth shit in the dark. So first of all, I'm older, and I can't see worth shit in the dark. The street lights. The roads are shit. Just bumpy as hell. And
you add in the tires and the Jeep.
And the Jeep and whatever. So I'm like struggling to keep this thing on the road, and like in between the lines. Like it's just a struggle. And so we get 45 minutes down the road, and we're literally fixing to be into Ohio. I'm 10 minutes. I'm not even 10 minutes. I'm 10 miles from going over the bridge from Kentucky to Ohio. So it means I'm like 45 minutes from home. And it's late at this point. We're talking like 10 o'clock. And here come blue lights. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm not speeding. I've made it very conscious effort to make sure I did not speed all the way up there. And I'm pulled over, and I'm like, what in the hell? And
Ma'am,
so,
do you know what I'm pulling you over for?
And it wasn't one, but two.
Oh, damn.
Two of them pulled me over. And so I'm like, shit. And so he's like, is everything okay? And I'm like, yeah. Like, what? Why are you pulling me over? And he said, we've actually been waiting for you.
What?
I'm like, what? And I'm sure I have this look of confusion on my face. And he said, yeah, we got a call about you a while back that you almost ran off the road. And I'm like, no, I did not almost run off the road. And I'm like, who knows? Maybe I looked like I was running off the road. I don't feel like I was running off the road. But so yeah, they were literally sitting there waiting on me.
Oh, you didn't tell me that little part.
I'm pretty sure.
Even Snitch didn't tell me that little part.
No, I'm pretty sure I did. And so, it again, and your steering wheel is so.
Well, when you hit a bump, you know it, or you hit a little pothole,
but it's also very tight. So any little move, and like the car is moving, swerving. So it's very reactive. And so he's like, "Have you had anything to drink?" I said, "Absolutely not." And he's like, okay, I need your license. I'm like, well, my license is in the back here. Can I don't know if I can reach it. So I'm trying to reach it. I pull it out. Here's my license. He said, what about your insurance? I'm like, I'm from Georgia. We don't have to carry insurance cards. It's all electronic. Like, I don't have my insurance card. I'm like looking in the Jeep and the thing. I'm like, there's no way Kent has an insurance card in here, but I'm looking anyway.
By the way, but yeah.
I couldn't find it in my panic at that point. And so as I'm pulling out my ID, he's like, you don't have any weapons. And I'm like, no.
Jesus.
And then I think, fuck.
I do have a pistol in the glove box.
Freaking Kent's pistol's in the glove box. Like, that's not good either. So I'm like debating. I'm like, oh God, do I tell him that? So I just kept my mouth shut. I'm like, fuck. And so he's like, well, can you look up your insurance? And I'm like, maybe, like, we've recently changed insurance. I don't know. I don't have an app. So I'm like holding it out. Of course, I got to hold it out like this to be able to see it. And I'm typing it in, and I'm like just sitting there because I'm like, I don't know where to go now. Like, I have no idea what a sign on would be.
You're probably panicking at this point.
I am. So at this point, I probably do look very drunk at this point because like I'm fumbling and can't find anything. And he's like, never mind. He's like, they've called it in at this point and they got it. It's fine. He said, so you've not had anything to drink? I said, no. Like, I literally 45 minutes from where I'm going. We stopped 45 minutes back. I go to eat. I have my 20-year-old daughter in here. No, I am not drinking. And I should have just said, do you want to give me a breathalyzer? I'll be happy to take a breathalyzer right now if you want me to. I said, this Jeep is huge. Like, it's very reactive. The roads are horrible. I can't see well. And he's like, well, like, you're going to have to do something different. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you want me to do different.
He told you need to get new tires or something, didn't he?
Yeah, he was like, I guess you need to get new tires then. And I'm like, I guess I do.
I'm glad you didn't get a ticket.
So before he let me leave, he did not make me get out, but he did do the whole, you got to follow, my finger with your eyes. And of course, then I'm sticking my neck out like this of the window.
Was Lauren recording this? This would have been amazing.
I'm sure at this point, like, I'm clenching my teeth, like, because I'm trying, making sure I'm not moving my head. I probably look like a freak. So anyway, then when he let me go, I'm feeling so badly about myself because I'm like, are you trying to, like, I'm driving so poorly that you thought I was a drunk driver?
They were waiting on you. Somebody called you in.
Waiting on me.
See, I got the Cliff's Notes version of this the other day.
Not to mention, so it's not just that it's dark, there are no lights, I don't see well. Like, I also, this is on a road I'm not familiar with. Yeah. It's 10 o'clock at night. Anyway.
Surely that's not the first time they've ever seen anyone kind of whatever on that road.
And I'm really glad they pulled me. I am glad at least that they waited where they waited because it was all lit up and there was traffic there and there were places still open there because Had they pulled me back a little bit, had they pulled me over on the road that I was originally on just a few minutes before, like, I would have been scared to pull over, like, by myself this late at night. Like, that freaks me out. And so, anyway, so then I'm feeling really badly about myself. So, okay, we're, going into Ohio, and I'm going away. I know this way. I've been on this road before, but not in your Jeep with these huge ass tires. Like, this road is like that big, 2-lane, and it's curvy. It's windy, curvy and windy. And then here comes the fog, and the fog at 11 o'clock at night looks creepy as fuck.
Yeah, especially kind of up in the hills and stuff.
It was, yes. It was sketch. It was creepy. It was freaking me out. I'm also looking for deer. Like, I'm seeing deer left and right out of my, I'm catching their eyes. And I'm like, oh, God, there was a deer. Oh, God, there was a deer. And Lauren's like, what's going to happen if we hit a deer? And I'm like, I hope it
don't slam on the brakes.
I hope it just bounces off and we keep going. That's what I hope. But we're not speaking that into the universe. I'm not hitting a deer. It's fine. It's all fine. So anyway, we do eventually get there, thank God, in one piece. But I was exhausted from that 45-minute drive because I'm sitting on the edge of my seat driving 15 to 20 miles an hour and clenching the steering wheel to keep hold of it, to keep it on this very tight road. And I can't believe how many people we passed
flying by you
at night, at that time of night.
Yeah.
And I'm just praying that I'm over on my side. So anyway, yeah, that part was exhausting.
I bet. So I'm going to remember this because I feel like that you harass me when I drive in Ohio at night, in the hills, in the fog, in the Jeep. But sure.
I don't recall that.
Of course you don't. But a lot of those details just were absent the other day when Snitch told me about this. So I'm glad that I'm glad a lot of this came out. You actually had somebody call the cops on you and said, there's this red Jeep up there. Mm-hmm. Granted, it has my business all over the side of it. Damn. I'm glad you were in Kentucky and Ohio and not Georgia. So
yeah, basically.
But anyhow, I'm glad you didn't get a ticket, right?
No, God,
okay.
No.
You sure?
What was he going to give me a ticket for?
Reckless driving. Yeah, he could have.
Really?
Yeah. And probably inattentive driving, if anything. But in any case, I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so we got there fine. I had to stay at a hotel that night because the Airbnb was not available for Friday night.
Was it a travel baseball hotel?
No, but there was a rodeo apparently going in because there were other people checking in at 11:30 at night.
I wish you could go to rodeos. I want to go to one. So we need to get you some Allegra D. You pop it, you take your inhaler, take your breathing treatment, and then we just try it one day.
I think I would also need like a whole face mask
or something,
or like what's the gas mask?
Yeah,
I think I would need a gas mask.
Yeah,
to not like just completely fall out.
I would love to go. I think it would be a ton of fun.
So anyway, there was that was very eventful as far as getting there. Yeah. And then we did and on the way, so as we're sitting there eating pizza that night before we get all the way to Ohio, it dawns on, I don't know if it dawned on me or if it dawned on Lauren, that she brought a white sweater dress to wear to the wedding. And it just dawned on either her or myself, one, that how did I not catch that you're wearing a white dress to the wedding? Like
which is faux pas, right?
Yeah, you can't wear a white dress to the wedding. Yeah. Which, I mean, hindsight, it probably would have been fine. But so we had to go find a place to find a dress. And thankfully, this little boutique that we went in, I had gone in the same boutique last time I went up to Ohio, and I remember the woman or whatever. And so we found a dress for Lauren. And the whole time in there, I'm like, okay, you need a wedding dress, and you need this dress. And she's like, oh, this is so cute. This would be cute for my 21st. I'm like, and then she pulls out another one. She's like, oh, that would be so cute for my 21st. I said, if I hear one more word about your effing 21st birthday, that is 7 months away. I said, actually, Lauren, you are closer to 20 than you are 21.
So this is like Katie. This is like Katie during the month of September.
This is worse because what was it? The 2 nights before, she had just randomly gone to Hobby Lobby
for a sash. I said,
"What are you going to Hobby Lobby for?" She's like, "Oh, I thought I might see if they have a 21st birthday sash." I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna lose my mind." We've got 7 freaking months before you turn 21. If I have to hear about this for 7 months, I'm going to lose my mind. So anyway, I found a dress for her, so that was good. I was able to go get a bubble. She didn't try it, but I was able to get a bubble, so that was all that really mattered to me. And for those of you that don't know what a bubble is, and maybe it's not everywhere it's like this, but so it is a ice cream that has the chocolate syrup in the bottom, and then the ice cream, and then a marshmallow cream, I guess. Yeah. And then the most amazing crushed peanuts on top. Like, it is, the combination is like heaven in my mouth, honestly.
It is one of those things that, you're sometimes guilty of romanticizing things, and then it ends up not being as good.
That one is
the bubble,
as good.
The bubble is probably as good as it's been made out to be.
But you know what? I didn't eat the bubbles. Like, I only started eating bubbles like 10 years ago. This is the first time I tried a bubble.
Bertie probably didn't let you buy them.
I guess Michael's was there. I guess maybe I didn't realize it really was open.
But to me, like
all those years ago,
it's the peanuts, and you can't replicate those peanuts. I think we've talked about that before.
Oh man,
yeah,
they're amazing. They're amazing.
I want a bubble now.
Well, and
I wish I would have gone now.
Well, and you can buy the peanuts and bring them home, but they didn't have any crushed ones up. They just had whole ones, and so I didn't feel like buying those.
We got a damn food processor, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
Oh, jeez.
So I was able to do that. I was able to, I feel like I was going nonstop because I fit a lot of things into this trip. And so I was able to see my brother, Aaron. And I really hate that I didn't get more time with him because I wanted to do like a little bonus episode since it's Halloween coming up. I was hoping to do like a spooky episode. And so he has had some experiences, and I wanted to just kind of talk to him about those experiences. And
like with your mom, right?
Mm-hmm, with mom, just with some of them with mom, some are not with. But I kind of wanted to do that with everybody. So I was hoping our listeners to be able to tell our listeners to, like, if they had a spooky encounter or something like that, to write in or tell us or whatever, because I wanted to share those. So I still maybe I'll try to do something like that with him.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
That it freaks me out.
It freaks me out. Well, so our Airbnb was haunted. I'm just going to put it out there. And
it was, so we've stayed there before. So one of the times, so this is Annie's second time.
This is my second time.
And I will tell you, it wasn't haunted when we went. I didn't feel like it was haunted, but I could absolutely see why or how it could be haunted.
Well, Amy stayed with us last time too, and she said last time.
Oh, she did, didn't she?
She did stay with us last time, and she stayed in the same room, and she said that closet gave her the same feeling then. She remembered that. And so she wasn't exactly looking forward to staying in that particular room because the closet gave her a freaky bad
bet this house
feeling.
is like from the 20s or something. I mean, it's been there a long time.
Oh, no. I think Annie looked it up. It was built in like 1890.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it's over 100 years
old.
But
so they've renovated it, but they kept a lot of the history, and there's pictures of old stuff and a lot of old artifacts.
There's Edgar Allan Poe. Yeah, and Cindy kept all these. So the lady that owns the Airbnb, her name is Cindy. She's a super nice lady. And she, like, when she redid it, she has, like, upstairs, like, all the furniture, the bedrooms, those 2 bedrooms are what you would think is antique kind of pieces. Yeah. Probably not 1890 antique, but still. But no, the more, so we kind of... So I kind of put that out of our mind, and then we went to rehearsals, to decorate and do rehearsal and all that stuff. Anyway, and then Kim told me about. I was taking the cabinet up there to her, to Jim and to Kim, and so Kim was telling me about a cabinet that she has that is haunted, and I was like, "What? A cabinet that's haunted? Like, really?" And so she's like, "Yeah." And so she started telling me about it. She said, I think she had said that it was like her mother's mother got it like on the side of the road. These people were moving and they put this furniture out on the side of the road. And the woman was like, "Are you, like, surely you're taking this with you? This is a beautiful piece of furniture." And they're like, "Nope, not coming with us. You can have it, take it." And so, I think it was her grandmother did. And the grandmother passed it down to the mother. And then the mother, passed away, gave it, or I guess the 3 kids were like, "Who's going to take it?" And the sister's
They're all
like,
like, nope.
Nope, I don't want it. I don't want anything to do with it. And Kim's like, well, I'm not going to let it go. Like, it's a great piece. And she showed me a picture of it, and it is beautiful. Like, it is old, but it's perfect condition. And so apparently, I didn't get the full story, but she did tell me that the cabinet has jumped before. And Jim was even saying as soon as she brought it home and they brought it into the house, it immediately gave him the worst feeling that he's ever had. He was like, he said, it's like an equivalent to dread, but it's even worse than that. I can't even explain the feeling that I got with this piece. And Kim was like, I had to clean it out. I had to put it in its place. I had to tell it, you either stop acting up or I'm calling, antique dealers. She called several antique dealers around their area. And, they said, is there anything suspicious? Is there anything wrong with this? And she's like, I mean, it is haunted. And they're like, absolutely not. We cannot deal with another piece like that in our store. Like, wow. As in, this is a thing that happens.
That's insane. Like if I'm sitting there and I see a damn cabinet start bouncing, first of all, I'm going to pee myself.
Yeah.
Second of all, I'm probably going to scream.
Yeah.
Third of all, it's getting burned. Without question, full-on gasoline torch.
No,
there's zero chance that thing's
I'm actually moving. I'm leaving everything, that cabinet in my house. I'm moving.
I can't even imagine
that.
Yeah,
so I don't know what other kind of things it has done, but apparently it also, so the sister said, here, take the cookie jar. There's this cookie jar that they had. For whatever reason, the cabinet likes this cookie jar. So there's a cookie jar that's sitting on top of this cabinet. And then she said, and this roll of tape is crazy. She's like, I know it sounds crazy, but there is a roll of tape inside this cabinet and the cookie jar that sits on top of it. And these two things, the cabinet likes, it somewhat chills the cabinet out. Between that and her just saying, listen, you're fixing to go to another place. You're fixing to leave my house because I can't deal with you. And you're not going to freak my husband out and you're not going to do this in my house.
As she's talking to a cabinet.
As she's talking to the cabinet. Yes, absolutely. She talks to the cabinet. She's like, but it's absolutely haunted. She's like, but it's a beautiful piece. So I keep it and it's settled down. So we've kept it in the house. So now, I gave him that cabinet, which my cabinet was not haunted. But so that's how that whole thing came up. So anyway, so that came up. So then we had lunch with Aaron and I was telling Aaron about it. And so I'm like, well, tell Amy about the experiences that you've had at the house. And so he told about one of the experiences that he had or whatever. And Lincoln, no, sir.
He's entertained. Let him be right now.
He's chewing on my chair.
I see what he's doing. It's metal. He's fine.
And so between all of that conversation, the first night, it was like, okay, didn't think a whole lot about it, I guess. So went to bed. Everything's fine. However, it did get to Lauren because it's time to go to bed, and she's in so there's 3 bedrooms upstairs, right? And of course, all of these stairs creak everywhere you go. And so she's in the first bedroom in this little day bed. First of all, she's like, "What is a day bed?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What is a day bed?" Like, I have to literally explain what a day bed is. Like, why would you have a day bed? I'm like, I don't know. Like, is this necessary? Like, just go. This is
I'm going to do everything I can to not go in that front room.
Right. Yeah. So she's like, I'm going to die. I'm like, why would you say that? Because I'm in the first bedroom by the stairs. So if somebody's coming up here to kill us, I'm the first one that's going to die. I'm like, so what are you trying to say? I don't know. I don't really want to stay in that bedroom. I said, so what do you think you're going to do? Stay in the bed with you? I'm like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. So yeah, so the 20-year-old daughter slept in the bed with me.
Hold on. First of all, okay. Did you go lay in that bed?
No, I wasn't laying in that bed. Okay. That's creepy.
Exactly. So don't
I'm not staying in that
room.
Don't
even act like the 20-year-old. How about the 48-year-old? You're probably happy she stayed with you. You're probably trying to act like you're hard, but you ain't hard.
Whatever. Shout a little bit more into the mic. So, yeah, plus that room has a floor-to-ceiling mirror that's
I
about
remember that.
4 foot wide,
I
and
remember
so
that.
that's kind of creepy. Also,
Oh my! Could you imagine opening your eyes and something staring?
I
We're not gonna be able to sleep tonight.
probably
I
not.
swear, if you have your
So,
weird screaming
okay, so
things.
Amy came and stayed with me, first of all, because I was like, Ken's not going to be there. Please tell me you're going to come stay with me, because I'm probably going to be scared to stay in this house by myself. And so Amy came and stayed. And so Lauren ended up sleeping with me. So the first night, I think we were all fine. Like, it was a very, I was probably still tired from the day before. I didn't sleep well that night, whatever. And so that was our first night there. Went to bed, no problem. But then the second night, after we had been at the wedding and, whatever, 4 or 5 different people came back to the house. Courtney and Devin and Annie being one, and they're sitting around. And as soon as Annie walked into the door, so first of all, my cousin's son's girlfriend, because he hadn't proposed yet. No pressure, Devin.
I saw her post about catching the bouquet again.
Yeah, and so as soon as Annie walked in the door, she was like, "Ooh,
are you serious?
This has got a icky feeling to it." And I'm like, "Shut up, Annie." And so I'm like, "Take the tour, go upstairs, look at everything." And so she goes upstairs. She's like, "This room especially," and she was talking about the one Amy's in. I'm like, "Fuck, great." And so she's like, "This room doesn't have a great vibe either." And no, she was talking about the one that Lauren was staying in. And then she's like, "Amy's didn't have a good vibe either." And so she's like, "I would never stay here. I can't. This is not good energy. This is not a good vibe." I'm like, shut up. And so we just got to talking about different things, and it's time for everybody to leave. And I'm like, nope.
Stay as long as y'all can.
Everybody has to stay the night. It's a slumber party.
Crazy.
And so Courtney even had something, I think it was a drink that it was like a CBD drink maybe or something. And she's like, take a drink of that. It'll relax your mind, or, relax you or whatever. And so I took 2 very long swigs of that. And Amy and I went upstairs, and it's probably 12:30 at this point, maybe 1 o'clock. And we're like looking at each other. And I was like downstairs sitting at the table talking. I was yawning. I was tired. Now that I'm upstairs, wide awake, not going to sleep, scared out of my mind. So Lauren had gone upstairs by herself anyway and went to bed. And I'm like, I can't believe she went up there and went to bed by herself. And I'm like, when I go up there, I hope she's not levitating like off the bed. That's what I expected to see.
I didn't get any of this when we were there, so it makes me wonder.
I think you don't think about stuff like that too.
Maybe so, or maybe it's a new haunting, or that y'all were just talking about it so much you kind of hyped yourself up.
For sure, freaked myself out because we were talking about it so much.
Yeah.
And so everybody leaves, and we were like, okay, yeah, we're grown. We're almost 50-year-old women. We left every light in that house on. We left the hall light on. We left the bathroom light on. We left all the lights on downstairs. We go upstairs, and so I need to take a breathing treatment anyway, and so I went into Amy's room and sat on her bed, and we're kind of just talking about stuff, and this drink is starting to hit me a little bit, and I'm feeling a little like, am I high? Like, what was in this drink exactly? And it was after 2. It was after 2 before I finally. So finally, I'm like, okay, I gotta go to sleep, because I'm driving home at this point the next day, and trying to get up like at 8, and it's like 2 a.m. And so Lauren's already in the bed, and so I go in there, and I have the cover. So I put my sweatpants on because it's cold too. It's cold up there. And so I had a sweatshirt on, I had my sweatpants on, socks on, like completely covered. And then I am under the covers. I got the covers pulled up to my mouth, right, to my chin. And I had my hair bonnet on. So since I left the hall light on, I could see. And so I pulled the hair bonnet all the way down over my eyes. So literally all you could see was my nose and my mouth. And I'm trying to just think good thoughts, and I'm like thinking about the dogs, and I can't wait to get home and see the dogs, and like happy thoughts, and I start saying out loud to myself, we are protected. We are what did I say? I'm putting a protection bubble around us. We are protected. We are safe. We are I don't even know what I said, but I'm saying this stuff out loud, and I'm like, whatever, thank you. And then I start speaking to the house. I'm like, thank you, house. We have enjoyed being here. We appreciate you. We thank you so much. But please, I put a protection bubble around us, and we are safe, and we are secure, and it's going to be fine. And so I'm trying to say all these things to trick my mind to stop thinking about how I'm fixing to die when I fall asleep. And so I must be starting to drift off, or maybe I had just drifted off, and I felt like something yank at my knee, like at my sweatpants. And it, to the point it woke me up. I only felt it because it woke me up. And I knew it was at that spot on my leg. And I'm like, and I'm like, okay, it's got to be something logical. I have to have been on my side sleeping, and maybe I just like had a twitch, or
which is possible.
It's very possible.
Do that, yes.
Or maybe I fell asleep with my hand between my knees, sometimes like I do, and if I twitched, then it would have pulled my sweatpants.
Yeah.
But I didn't freak. For some reason, I didn't freak out, and I think the reason I didn't freak out is because whatever I drank from Courtney had me feeling like I was twisted. Yeah, I was twisted, and so I laid there for a little while longer, and I'm saying these same things to myself. Protection bubbles, safe around us. Thank you, house. Appreciate you.
That was THC, not CBD in that drink.
Okay, whatever it was. And so I guess I finally fell asleep, but I tossed and turned all night. And finally I saw some daylight coming through the windows, and I'm like, oh, Lord Jesus, thank you. We made it.
So the weirdest thing, Annie, she doesn't do this nearly as much as she used to, but I would say when we were at the old house and then maybe the beginning of this one, like she does this thing where
I was really hoping I didn't, because if I had done that, it would have freaked us all out. We would have not gone back to sleep probably.
She does this thing where it starts off
it's because I'm dreaming and I'm trying to scream in my dream, but I can't actually fully get the scream out in my dream.
Yeah, and so it just goes elevated, and to the point where it's like a full-on scream. And like for the longest, it would weird me out. Like I would freak out. I'd like shake her, wake her up, whatever. Well, now I can see as soon as I hear that, I know it's about to happen. So I reach over and I just grab it. I'm like, hey. And then this bitch right here has the audacity to get pissed because I'm like waking her up. And I'm like, well, you're about to do your screaming thing. Of course I'm going to do that. She tells me I talk too loud. I tell you, y'all have they have a volume control in there.
Anyway.
But anyhow, so what do you think? So you used to do that pretty often. Mm-hmm. I don't think you do it nearly as much as you used to. Do you think that was... I'll probably do
it tonight now that
you think that was from being tired, or do you think that was anxiety? Like, what do you think that was from?
No idea. Just bad dreams.
Yeah.
It's just from bad dreams.
Why
do you have bad dreams?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so I missed a part. So the first night, it was fine. We didn't feel like the haunting necessarily, but the first night what freaked us out is we're getting in bed, and it's like 11 o'clock at night, and so Lauren gets in bed, and she's like, what is this? She gets a pop-up, and it is about an AirTag that is following her. Did we tell you about this?
No.
Oh, okay. So it says, it gets a pop-up on the phone, something about there's an AirTag in your area, it's moving with you, and the person can track your location. That's what the pop-up says. And her first thought is, did my mom put a tracker on me?
My first thought is a sex trafficker.
Well, so after she said that, what my thought is because she had said, when the guys pulled us over, there were two cops, right? Two different cars. The second one was coming to her side. I never saw that guy because I'm constantly looking at the cop on this side, right? So apparently a cop came to her side with a flashlight and was like, he probably was trying to look to see if we had alcohol in the vehicle, is, logically what I'm thinking. But he was on Lauren's side, and Lauren's like, well, he disappeared at one point. And I'm thinking, oh my God, did they put a tracker, an AirTag on our vehicle? Are they stalking us? Are they fixing to come kill us?
I bet you had a helicopter flying over top of you. They thought you were somebody you weren't.
Okay, so it wasn't 3 seconds after hers came up when we looked at it and we're like, I don't know what that is. That concerns me, but I don't really know what to do about it. Then, so I'm trying not to tell her that I'm freaking out. Internally, I'm freaking the F out. And so I'm like, it's fine, it'll be okay. Like, I don't want her to freak out. So I'm freaking the F out. And so then I get the pop-up on my phone. So I get the pop-up on my phone, and honestly, it made me feel better that it came up on my phone too, because if it was just on her phone, I was really freaked out. But now that it came on my phone too, I'm like, okay, maybe this is something like, maybe this isn't quite as bad
or something. Is it an air
tag,
or is
it's an air tag? You know the air tags, right? So you can buy the air tags, and when you put the air tag on, now apparently what happens is if there is an air tag, I guess, moving in your area, your vicinity, it will pop up and let you know that there is an air tag following you or in your vicinity, and the person can track your location. So that you can like say either, yes, I know this person, or no, I don't, like, let's contact the authorities or do something like that. And so I'm about to, like, what do I do? And Amy comes in, and I'm like, did you get this freaking pop-up? And she looks at it, she's like, oh, I forgot. That's me. I have an air tag in my back. And I'm like, oh, holy Jesus, thank you.
So so does that mean that one of y'all have air tags too?
No.
If it let you know about someone else with an air tag?
No, it just because I guess Amy had an air tag in her bag. It was like because it was with us and I don't know how the whole thing works, but what if for whatever reason the air tag was her stuff, but because she was so close to us, it was letting us know there was one in the vicinity. So that
No, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah,
Snitch didn't tell me about that.
That was the freak out the first night. And so between all of that, we're lucky that we slept it all. I don't know how I drove all the way home and did not get tired because I had so little sleep than what I'm used to.
And then your mind's running the whole time, which causes you to be even more tired.
Absolutely.
Man, that's crazy. I'm glad y'all made it home.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
So that was that. Those
so
are
needless
most of our
to say, I'll be going next time.
Yes. And so the funny things that happened is when we were having lunch with Aaron and Allie is my 15-year-old niece. Aaron's my brother. And, of course, Lauren and Amy. And we're talking, I don't even know how the whole subject came up, but we started talking about rotary phones. And, of course, Allie and Lauren are like, what is a rotary phone? And we're like, oh, gosh. And so I pull up a picture of it, and I said, okay, Lauren, like, so if you had to dial, like, my phone number on there, what would you do? And she's like, I don't know. I guess I'd do this and do it. And she like did counterclockwise or whatever the way you were supposed to go, it went the other way. And I'm like, okay. And so we were kind of laughing about that. And then, I asked her, did I ask you or did I ask Devin and Annie? I asked one of them. I can't remember. Okay. So do you dial the number and then pick the headset up, or do you have to pick the headset up and then dial the number? And they were like, I would dial the number and then pick the headset up. I'm like, nope, that's not.
No, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not how those phones work. You got to pick the headset up and then you got to get a dial tone, dummy. Are you struggling with this too?
See, when I'm picturing, I mean, like you could literally hold it and dial it. Like you don't have to have it up to your ear to dial the number.
Well, correct. Yes.
Well, that's what I was.
You have to have it off the
hook. Yes, that's what I thought you were talking about.
And so then we started kind of going down telling them about how phones used to be and how when we were growing up, you had landlines. You didn't have cell phones, and so you had to either have a landline that had a really long cord that went from the wall to the phone that then you could like pull it into another room and shut the door and talk on the phone, or you had to have a really stretched out phone cord that you could pull around corners and stuff like that to try to have private conversations. Because
do you remember your phone number at home?
286-1064 614-286-1064. Yes.
We had two lines, 922-2535. But I can't remember if the area code back then, I think the area code back then was 912. It's 478 now.
Yeah. Dad's was 912.
But I think when I was growing up, it was separated somehow. So anyway, and then the 922-2535, and then the other one was 922-0462.
Yeah.
Like, how crazy is that?
I couldn't tell you Jackson and Lauren's phone number to save my life.
No, God, no. But you know what's funny? You talk about this rotary thing, but think about us. You remember there was one time there was a baseball game going on.
Yes.
And I think my phone had died or something like that. And so I had to use Jackson's. Well, I was trying to text Annie, I think, where I was at or something like that. And I remember it was one of the slide-up phones. And it was one of the, ABC is on number 1, DEF is on there. And you had to press the button to the corresponding letter or press the number to corresponding letter. And then it was like, well, shit, I don't know how to space this stuff either. because we had gone to like a more advanced phone. And so going back to this little slider phone. So, anyways, my message to her was like one big word.
It was one long.
It was like
sentence,
that guy. It was like that Geico commercial back there. Atta baby, it's a boy. I mean, it literally like, and that was I could not have been 2 years out removed, 3 years removed, and it was like, what in the world am I supposed to do right here? So, I suspect that was a lot like them looking at a rotary phone and thinking, what am I supposed to do?
So they didn't know what the rotary phone was, and so then we were telling them about actual landlines, and they were like, their minds were blown. And then
Do you remember how you used to listen in to calls on landlines?
Yeah, like when as soon as when the phone rang, you either you had to pick it up real quick, like Courtney was like, it would be like, and you like, you had to get it real quick. And then you knew if you had another phone in the house, which everybody did, and if it was a boyfriend calling, you know your mom had picked up that phone too. And you'd be like, get off the phone, Mom. I know I can hear you, Mom. And
if your brother or sister was on the phone,
and you really, you could, but you also really couldn't tell if they had hung it up or whatever. Yeah. And so then it got us into talking about encyclopedias. And of course, Lauren and Allie are both like, what's an encyclopedia? And we're like, oh my God. Like, think about.
I think Gary tried to pawn those off on us. Not too
Gary
long ago.
Jenkins, for sure, just recently got set rid of his night. And I'm trying to think, what year?
Encyclopedia Britannica.
I must have been 12 years. I was 12 years old when they got married. And I know we had those encyclopedias probably when they moved into that, or we all moved into that house. So whatever year that was.
Yeah, it doesn't
Anyway,
matter.
in the 80s.
Yeah.
And so just thinking about the fact that we did book reports, we did homework, we did things based on these encyclopedias. And some people couldn't even afford an entire set of encyclopedias. They got like, one or two a year. Yeah. And so how, like, talking about withholding knowledge.
What about a disadvantage?
Right. We worry about things now, but like that, we were at such a disadvantage for knowing things. It was quite crazy. So anyway, we explained the whole encyclopedia thing to them. They thought that was interesting. And then of course that took us down the whole, day bed. And Lauren's like, what is a day bed? And why would you have a day bed? And I'm like, oh my God. So then we're paying, right? The bill comes. I have to pay because you're not there, right? And so, which means I have to write a tip.
Threw you off.
No, the tip did not throw me off. I did it very easily. And as I'm writing the tip, Lauren's like, oh God, I never would have done the math that way. So I guess that's what we were talking about, math, because, they changed. Like when Jackson was in school, they had gone to this Common Core math and all this BS. And Aaron was talking about how it was when Allie was young, and then they've changed it again. And he was talking about the way you have to draw these lines and have these boxes and all this stuff for like teaching them. He's like, I kind of get it, because if you were doing it in your head, that possibly might be how you're doing it. But, like, how are you supposed to do this on a standardized test or whatever? And so I'm doing my receipt and I'm adding the tip and I do the math. And, of course, I'm like, you carry the one and, that's how you do, like when, whatever. It's not. Don't look at me like that. And Lauren's like, oh God, I never would have done the math like that. I'm like, what are you talking about? Because I'm doing my addition from right to left, right?
Let me hold on.
No. From right to left, right?
You can.
Yes.
From right to left?
Yes.
Okay, well, hold on.
Like if I had $32.10 and I was adding $10.30, right?
Okay.
I would do it.
When you do it a tip, you would actually leave change?
Well, no, but I'm just
okay, so
for an example.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
I want you to answer this as quickly as you can, because this will tell me, because I guess you're trying to make fun of the way Lauren does the math. This will quickly tell me how you look at it. Okay. So I'm going to give you a number, the meal cost. And I want you to immediately, or as quickly as you can, tell me what a 20% tip is.
Okay.
Okay, or approximately a 20% tip.
Okay.
The server hands you a receipt, and it says the bill is $45.13.
$9.
Okay. So you're not adding right to left and all that stuff. You're just taking.
But that's not what she's doing. She's saying she literally would do the addition from left to right. I said, so Lauren, so if I have a copy of it. It's on my freaking
Yeah, if
phone.
you go left to right, but then you have to carry, then you got to go back.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what I said. I said, so if that's the case, what do you do? She's like, oh, I'd have to get my calculator out then.
Oh,
I'm
geez.
like, what?
Well, listen, she's also the person.
Okay.
She's in here with us right now, by the way. But she's also the person when she's counting her tip money. she'll have $17, for example, and then she'll count a 10. She'll put plus 10, and then she'll count plus 5. I'm like, girl, like you can add this stuff up in your head.
Or you can count it like 5, 10, 15,
yeah.
20.
Yeah.
Anyway, so.
God love her.
Yeah, so that was.
Well, you did good on that tip drill.
Thank you. I know. Just because I don't want to be the one to actually pay the bill and stuff, doesn't mean I can't. I can do it.
But there have been times where you will literally freeze up
because you're sitting there staring at me. You're making me nervous.
Well, okay.
Or the person
or
is
if I have to use
or
the
waitress
bathroom,
is standing there staring at me. Like, can you please not stare at me while I'm trying to do math in my head?
I feel
please
you
stop.
On that. I feel you on that.
Move. I don't want you to see. Maybe I don't want to give you a good tip, and you're pressuring me. So get away.
Yeah, I don't like when they do that either. But there have been times where I'm like, I got to go to the bathroom, and you're like, can you please just wait? Can you please just wait?
Anyway, so
I know that tip will get you every night.
And so for me to do that tip, I did 10% of 45 and then doubled it. So I knew 45, 10%, it's $4.50, and then I double it. So how do you do it?
Same.
Is that that's how you do it?
Yeah.
I thought you said you did it differently.
No. I mean, that's the easiest way for me to remember it. Yeah.
But don't ask me to do anything other than 10 or 20%.
But I will.
I can do 10, 20,
I will also
and 50.
round. Like I'm not gonna do a tip of 45 or a tip of $9.13 to get it to a round number.
Correct. I don't do that either. But it just was funny that she told me, she's like, oh, I would add that the other way, and I'm like, what do you mean you would add if you had to carry a number? That's totally what are you doing? It doesn't even make sense. I'm like, oh my god.
Well, luckily, a lot of these restaurants are just moving to you just put it to 20% or whatever it is you're going to tip and run with it.
So anyway, it was it was a good trip from the standpoint of I'm always glad to go up there and see everybody, even though it was Amy and Courtney. I got to see Aaron. I got to see Courtney's family, and so that was good.
So I did miss you guys.
We missed you too.
If you're wondering at all what I did, I mean, shit. My brother-in-law came over, and my sister even came over, which I was surprised. I was like, I cannot believe you let me borrow Brian for this long. But anyhow, I've been talking for several months now about putting some additional subflooring in the attic because it needed some more room. Our attic was just atrocious, but she's talking about decorating for Christmas and all this stuff. And so when she was gone, I was like, well, now's the time. Let's build a shelf. So I went over to Brian's house, and he kind of gave me an idea what they did. I said, okay, cool. I got a visual. I said, let's put a big shelf over here, big shelf. So now the attic, we'll send pictures or whatever, but you got Halloween stuff. You got old Christmas stuff that we're not going to use. We have current and irrelevant Christmas stuff.
You are talking about stuff nobody cares about. They do not care.
They don't care any less than this shit you've been talking about. But that's what I did.
You're talking about an attic.
I was productive.
I was very
No, I'm not
appreciative.
talking about an attic.
You're yelling.
I was not talking about an attic. I'm talking about the most beautiful attic. There's never been an attic look this good
I was
before.
when you sent me that video, it made me very happy, which also made me very sad because that is real adulting when you get happy about that.
Let me tell you why people care, because they're going to go in their attic and they're going to be like, damn, I get so tired of moving this and stepping over this and looking right here and not having room. They're going to look back on this episode and think, Kent, I need to see exactly what you did in that attic now because it's decorating.
Let me tell you, do what Kent does as far as making that. Do not do what Kent does at the end part, which is not clean any of it up. That's probably that might be my biggest pet peeve.
I also play golf on Sunday. We got a guys group now. We're going to start doing it once a month. Do shout out. We had some young guys, we had some older guys, we had some middle-aged guys like me, we had some great players, we had some just barely average players like me, but it was a great time. We're going to start doing it once a month, so I'm looking forward to it. I told him, I said I can't commit to every single weekend, but I can commit to once a month, so that'll be my
except next month.
my me time. Well, no, I want to make next month happen. Yeah.
And so, so that's what's been going on. And now I've got to go tomorrow and vacuum all the insulation that's everywhere.
I had to force her to clean up. There's just tactics I've learned over the years. Either tell her that people are coming over and we're going to have a party over here, so she has to clean, or make it so messy that she's forced to clean. Pro tip. You're welcome.
But that's like another level of insulation
really
is not.
Yeah, insulation's
that's not good.
And honestly, had I not gone to play golf on Sunday, I would have. And then I got back from that, and I had some work stuff to do. And then Monday was tied up with work stuff. So we'll get to it. We'll clean. I'll help you clean it up tomorrow. I got some free time before we go to Tybee. So, yep.
Anyway.
Are we done? I feel like I said like 3 words this whole time.
It was a great episode.
Wow. Talent is just,
Anyway, I think, so I looked at our download numbers actually the YouTube numbers, and our best episodes were the ones with the step parenting stuff and then the fertility. And so I'm like, do we need to keep talking about that? But I feel like that's like, ugh.
No, I mean, I love talking about it. Honestly, I think it's a great topic because it relates to a lot of people. I think we have to put a couple of these lighter ones in. Like last week was pretty light. This one's a little light. Maybe we'll get back into it next week. But I think that like talking about it every single week, it can be a little bit heavy. So
yeah, I'm hoping to do a Zoom with Aaron and do like maybe a few spooky things.
Yeah, that'll be fun. But honestly, like that.
And if you guys have spooky encounters, we would love to hear them. I would love to do a bonus episode and share those. So please share those with us, whether you send us DMs or email us or.
I mean, it is Halloween week.
I know. That's why I really wanted to do it this week.
Do it now.
Do it.
And we'll post some stuff on there. But no, but kind of going back to that topic. I mean, it's emotionally draining for us to, you know what I mean? Like I remember after those episodes just being exhausted. I'm just like, man, that took it all out of me. So, but yeah, if people want to hear about that and we've got some other stuff to talk about, I'd love to. So, anything else?
I think that pretty much was it. Lauren, you're in the room. Do you want to get on the mic and say what you thought of our trip?
I mean, I didn't hear all what you said, so.
You don't have to say just what you thought of the trip.
Did you enjoy the trip?
Yeah. I didn't ask her.
What her favorite thing was?
I didn't give her the question.
Yeah.
You didn't ask me that.
Yeah.
So.
What was your favorite part?
Honestly, like, I feel like our, like, what do you call it? Our after party of the wedding where we all sitting in the dining room.
Reception?
It was you, me, Amy, Courtney, Devin, and Annie. And I just thought it was really fun because we were, like, catching up, laughing a lot. And
who is this girl? This is literally... Who is this girl? Anyways, I love it. I love hearing that. That makes my heart happy, so... All right.
We're not going to tell Dad what I had said about your family and my 2 families.
Oh, that's true. You just say that.
You know what I'm talking about, too.
Do you know what it is?
I do, yeah. I do remember that now.
Are we sharing on here?
Lauren can share it.
I mean, we can.
Well, she's like in a... She's
well,
not
she
in front
might
of the
as well
microphone.
come over here and where you can hear on the microphone.
Do you want to come over here and say what happened? Or what y'all were talking about?
I mean, I think it'd be kind of funny, wouldn't it?
You might as well
sure,
say, yeah.
Might as well.
Come say.
Yeah, we were basically like, it was, again, all of us sitting there at the after party. And I can't remember, how did it come up in conversation?
I don't remember exactly. I'm not really sure.
We kept going on so many different topics, like, it just randomly came up. But I basically was like, I know I said your family was the fun and energetic family.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really remember what exact words I described the other 2 as. I know I described my mom's side as kind of serious.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really be yourself kind of person.
Uh-huh.
And then I said Dad's is kind of boring.
Dad's family or dad?
No, Dad's family. Like
Okay.
the side of the family.
Okay.
What do you mean by boring?
Like, I mean, they're just not like Courtney and Amy and all them. Like, we can laugh and like all that. It's like, we got one family that doesn't do anything with us. And we got one that like Didn't really do a whole lot, but they will show up on Thanksgiving and Christmas, but it's just not the same vibe, I feel like.
Yeah. So what she meant by all of that is that she had a very good time up there hanging out with everybody, with Amy and with Courtney.
We were just cutting loose.
Yes, we're just being ourselves. We're having a good time, and it's not about worrying about who's watching or what somebody's going to say.
Well,
and
there's no judgment to it either.
Yeah, there's no judgment to it. And then we just have a good time and laugh, and we're just silly after the fact. So, so I think you definitely enjoyed that part of it.
And I think after the last, 2 years of being here, right?
A year and a half?
2 years, something like that. I love getting to show my personality and like joking around all the time. Mm-hmm. Because I used to be so serious and would not bring up.
Girl. Oh my God.
I would not bring out my personality, but now I do like bring it out a little bit, and I do enjoy that.
Yeah, you specifically said that to them as well. I do recall that. I've forgotten to tell your dad that until the other day. And I'm glad to see that. And I think
he's over here sitting like this girl, and I'm like, okay, well, my first 18, 19 years of my life, I wasn't very energetic. I kept to myself, and I'm like, the past 2 years, you've seen more personality than you ever have in my life.
Mm-hmm. That is true. Anyway, I'm glad that you went. I'm glad that you had a good time. All right, well, we are going to wrap this up. I appreciate you guys for listening again. Don't forget to send in your spooky stories. I would love to share those and do a spooky episode, even if it's, next week. I think that still would be fun. But we appreciate you guys so much, so we'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank y'all so much for listening again. We really appreciate you being here. If you enjoyed this episode on our podcast, please consider leaving us a rate and review. It really helps push our podcast out to other people just like you, and we would appreciate it so much. We love you guys. Mwah.